heroes and heroines of all ages. When the world tells you to get a life, you're always welcome at the One Up Block. My name is Dan the Man, your host, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Shantae Risky's Revenge. When we last left off, we did a dungeon, and it was the most annoying dungeon in the game. Not even really that annoying. And this episode is going to be even more eventful because, do the drum roll please, this is going to be everybody's favorite, the collectathon episode. Yes, I know, please. Girls, undampen your panties. Guys, pick your jaws off the floor. I fucking know this is the best, this is the pinnacle that of any kind of content I will ever put out. But, you know, at the end of the day, it has to be done. So, without further ado, I'm going to stop shaking my booty, turn into an aminal, and then I'm going to stop being that aminal because we don't actually have to be that right now. However, we were told to go check at the shop and see if our uncle was here, so let's go tell our uncle that we've got all the magic seals. And that seems to be a bust almost immediately, for he is not here. Alright, so, with that out of the way, we're supposed to go look for him, but I'm just gonna jump ahead and be like, well, maybe we've already searched everywhere, so maybe we should go and check out what it looks like at Shantae's house, Spoiler alert, this is where we're supposed to go, by the way, in case you were actually curious about that. Let's talk to Sky and Bolo, who are not supposed to be here usually. Shantae, there you are. We were looking all over for you. What's going on? Where's Uncle Mimic? You're not gonna like this. We found a ransom note in his workshop. Oh no. Take a look. Maybe you should sit down. No, please read it. Risky Boots says she took your uncle and will trade his life for the three magic seals that you've got. She's hiding out in the lamp's original resting place, somewhere east of here. Do you know what she's talking about? Poor uncle. This is all my fault. East? That means he's over by the mayor's private retreat? Don't be stupid. This would put him near the old boathouse. What kind of moron doesn't know east from west? Please don't argue. I need help coming up with a plan. I can help! Who's this guy? You've got it all wrong. Risky Boots didn't take your old friend. It was that zombie gal. Roddy Tops? She'd never. Besides, why should I believe you? Didn't you explode in a huge stage clear sequence? Hey, don't blame me for putting up a fight. The pirate lady was threatening me and my babies if I didn't hand over my magic seal. She really shook things up, and now my kids have run off. Whether you believe me or not, that zombie girl and pirate are in cahoots, and that's a fact. This sounds fishy. Why would you come here? Why, to strike a deal, naturally. Miss Boots will be expecting to fight you on her terms, but there's a back door to her hideout that might just give you an advantage. If you agree to save my 3 golden babies, I'll show you how to open the path to Risky's hideout. I hate how they kind of cut it off. Either way, she knows I'm coming. What do you guys think? If Risky's hideout is underwater, my birds can't do squat for you. You might have to trust this guy. He might be a stinker, but I think he's telling the truth. Okay, you've got yourself a deal. Where do I start? My babies are probably hiding in the undersea caverns close by. One of them has an artifact that will help you enter the back door to Risky's lair. Let's get this done quickly. Uncle Mimic needs me. Okie dokie, and so starts our grand adventure. Now we're gonna go finish. Not only are we gonna go collect these 3 golden, I think warp squids is what they were called, which is funny because that's what they're called in the first game, wink. But not only are we about to go collect all 3 of them, but we're also gonna go collect the rest of the stuff that we need to collect. Speaking of which, I need to go back to town real quick and buy a couple of the things that I can, if I can, because I think Shantae's max amount of money in this game is $999, and I actually need it to not reach that maximum before we go on this journey. Because if I'm going to want to buy everything, I'm going to need as much money as I can get, and $999 simply will not cut it for right now. So we have enough to get this, and I have enough to get this. So I'm going to just snag those while I can, and then we're going to take off. Because we no longer have to be here. But now starts our journey of collecting the things that we need. The squids. The warp squids. I forgot. But looking at the map, if you look where we are right now, where you need to go to find these warp squids is mostly in the watery sections of the areas up at the top of the screen, because there's no water areas down below. And the one in particular, the three in particular that we need to be looking at is the one to the far left next to the save and the warp pad, whatever. Not the one where Shantae's house is. There's actually something else at Shantae's house. Then the only other two water sections are where the squids are. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You don't know where they are, but that's what I'm here for, baby. I'm doing the Let's Play. Of course, I'm going to show you where they are. If I didn't, I'd kind of suck, wouldn't I? Just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, booty second go. Woo! So this is Shantae's house. There's actually nothing here that we need. There's actually a secret place where we can get some money here, but we can't actually do that yet. We're going to be able to do it shortly, and I probably will because I want all the money I can snag, like I said before. But for now, we basically just come to the right, and we'll find one of those items that I said is pretty much a requirement for this game. Well, I didn't say requirement, but I said that this is one of the items that I would recommend you get. It's for convenience, because, you know, having more hearts is always nice. Especially if you play like Zelda or something, where, you know, having more hearts is definitely a plus. It's sort of like that, except the enemies in Shantae are a little more annoying than Zelda, I'd say. So, more health in this game means way more than it does in that game. But for now, we're actually not going to be messing with the one to the far left or the one to the far right, because I'm just going to take the warp panels to go over there. So right now we're just heading to the right of town, which the fastest way is by Elefante. I actually figured out that using the elephant is probably the fastest way to get through the mermaids, actually, which you're about to see. Also, you guys probably won't hear it as loud as I will, but I'm listening to the elephant do the noise that it does when it dashes. And it's kind of loud and obnoxious. It's making it hard to think a little bit, but doing this will make it... Actually, hold on, crap. I passed it up. I'm sorry. I did a oops. I did a oopsie doodle. We actually need to be here. So... You saw I just took damage there. What you need to do is not touch the D-pad or the control stick whenever you're dashing. Why? I just skipped it again. Son of a bitch. Okay. Don't touch the D-pad and do the tackle, because then they'll die. We actually need to be here. So boom chicka boom chicka boom chicka boom. Now let's go into the water. So here comes the fun part of this. You actually have to navigate these tiny little caverns. They're annoying, but they're not too annoying to where they're like, oh my god, how the hell do I do this? You'll actually be able to figure out where you're supposed to go if you just swim around long enough. So you just swim around, and I'm pretty sure... No, this isn't the one. This isn't the annoying one. This is the one that's actually... You just kind of follow the secret path, and you'll know you're on your way. Go to the left here, and we've got ourselves... Turn it to the elephant. Boom, boom, boom. Not only do we have ourselves some money, but we have the warp squid. I think this is supposed to be like a reference to the warp squids from the first game, which, you know, I don't really care too much for the warp squids because they were kind of annoying and they were a mechanic that should have just been like a natural progression thing, but, you know, whatever. I am far from it to be somebody that should be judging a game on what it should and shouldn't have. All I know is what I think is personally fun to me, so I'm gonna offer my opinion. And then hopefully people in the comments section will be pretty civil about it. You guys are free to offer your opinions too, and I will accept them. Because hey, everybody's different. Some people like Persona, some people like Shin Megami Tensei. Some people like both, like me. But, you know, not everybody shares that opinion. Oh, the internet loves to hate something. The internet loves to shit on opinions, too. That's a thing as well. But now that we're out of here, we got our first squid. And yes, we have to get all 3 squids before we can go on this journey to collect the rest of the items, because the thing that we get from doing this is actually required to collect some of the items. Can you believe it? And while we're just basically doing nothing and running from left to right, I should have turned into the elephant again, but since we're just running from left to right and I'm collecting the crap, I want to talk about holy crap, I just lost. What was I talking about? Oh, the endings. The endings to Shantae, which are based on a lot of criteria. We're going to go to the seaside one first. Yes. The endings for Shantae meet different criteria. Like, there's one for just beating the game without collecting all the items. There's one for beating the game after collecting all the items. There's also one for beating the game in under 4 hours, I think, without collecting the items, or 2, maybe. And then there's another ending for collecting all the items and beating the game in under 2 hours. And that sounds like a hell of a lot, and it kind of is. It kind of isn't at the same time. Also, this is where we need to go into the water. By the way, in case you needed me to tell you that. But, Risky's Revenge doesn't... It's pretty short. Like, we played the game, you've seen everything that the game has to offer. This is also where the cave is. This is the sneaky one. I was kind of talking about that during the last one, but Risky's Revenge is really short. You've watched me play the entire game, you've seen literally everything this game has to offer, so you probably understand what I mean when I say this game is incredibly short, and remembering where all these items are isn't too daunting of a task. And this is coming from somebody who absolutely hates when a game makes me memorize shit because I have a horrible memory. So, you know, when I tell you that it's really not that bad, you should probably take it to heart, I guess. You don't have to, of course. You can fucking ignore me if you'd like, because, hey, I'm just some random asshole on the internet who thinks he knows a thing or two about video games. But, I don't know. The endings aren't even really that great. To my knowledge, I think the endings are just a picture. Like, you get a different picture, sort of like seeing Samus without her suit on if you beat the game in under a certain amount of time. It's sort of like that, except in this day and age, you kind of expect more from beating a game 100%. And I think we talked about this already, but even Shantae, the Pirate's Curse doesn't do that very well either. Just stay the fish form here. You're gonna get shot by these spiders, but it doesn't matter. Just for your convenience, stay in mermaid form and then come over here, because it's gonna turn you back into Shantae when you pick up the warp squid anyway. Booyah! Let's turn back. But in this day and age, you kind of expect something more for 100% completion. The only reason you'd want to do 100% completion in Shantae, Risky's Revenge, or in Pirate's Curse for that matter, is so you can get the best time for a trophy. And that's it. Unless you're a speedrunner and you want to see if you can actually... Like, if you want to do it for a challenge to see if you could do it, see how fast you can get through the game. There's always that. But there's really no incentive for collecting a lot of the items, actually. Aside from picking up, like I've said before, this item, and then the pike ball. These two are required for story progression, but their upgraded versions aren't much better than what they started from. Like, this shoots the fireball in an arc, and I forgot what the third fireball does. We'll see what it does when I actually go by it in a little bit. And then the puff cloud, I think each puff cloud actually does something different instead of doing a better version of the initial attack. And honestly, from what I've seen, I think the first level of the puff cloud is actually better than the other two. I could be entirely wrong, but the only items I really see necessary are the pike balls, and only up to the second stage. The third stage is kind of overkill, but I prefer using it because I like overkill, because I'm an asshole and I like to destroy everything. But with that said, I mean, like, the only thing that I could probably see people wanting to collect is the heart containers, because obviously heart containers are pretty freaking awesome, you know what I mean? They give you a lot of health, they keep you alive, especially in this game where, honestly, most of the enemies are just an annoyance. None of the Shantae games have really give me an incentive to kill the enemies. Like, at the beginning of the game, when you start off fresh, you're kind of, you kind of have, like, rose-tinted glasses, like, ooh, they drop money, and I can buy stuff in the shop for money, so I want money, so I'm gonna kill stuff for the money, right? Well, after a while, that kind of loses its charm because you realize that most of the dungeons give you a lot of money, and then over the course of time, if you just kill stuff occasionally when the game forces you to kill stuff, then you're gonna come into the fortune naturally anyway. So what's the point? And then, specifically, Risky's Revenge, once you have these two items, which you can practically get at the beginning of the game, the Pike Ball and the second upgrade, and then maybe you max out on potions and magic potions, you're golden. Like, you don't need anything else. There's no requirement for anything else. And I'm not counting the Monkey Dash and the Elephant Stomp because those are actually required. And also the third attack that we're about to get, which we can stop talking about Shantae now. I can stop bitching because it's actually time for more plot. You've done it. You found all 3 of my babies. I'm fit to burst. Well, Genie Girl, a deal's a deal. Come on, kiddos, whoever has the artifact, give it to the nice lady. You gave the warp squids, and we got the mermaid bubble. Yay, we can now fire bubbles while swimming. With that thing, you can fire bubbles in mermaid form. In addition to blasting enemies, you can also destroy undersea blockades. Risky's lair is east of here, just outside town is the deepest part of the sea. Or in the deepest part of the sea. Well, what are you waiting for? Kick her butt. Take her down hard. And once you do, snap some close-ups. It's time for a showdown. Hold on, Uncle, I'm on my way. Okie doke. But before we go, we are of course going to go finish the collectathon. So, if you only wanted to watch this episode for the plot, that's all the plot that's going to be here. Honestly, if you want to skip the rest of this, I wouldn't blame you. I'm about to show off where the secret area is for money, though, so if you want to see this part, you know, stick around for this. But, honestly, now that you've seen where I've just gone, you know exactly where to go. And this kind of doesn't make sense, because this is the attack that Shantae now has after that. And I don't understand how that breaks rocks, but, you know, whatever. Also, that magic gathering thing is actually pretty nice. I said it was pretty useless, and I still stick by it. I still stick by that statement that it's mostly useless. But it's pretty cheap to pick up, and honestly, since you watch this Let's Play, and if you don't really care about trophies, you really don't have to pick up the other items anyway, I would actually kind of recommend the magic thing, because it like sucks in, or like magnets money and hearts and stuff. So it's kind of cool. The way they make it sounds like it's gonna attract magic jars only, but no, it actually means it's gonna vacuum up items in general. So that's actually kind of neato. But at this point in the video, if you're still here and you don't really care about anything but the plot, I would recommend you either skip to the end of this one and see if I have anything else to say, and then wait for the next episode / go straight to the next episode if you're watching the playlist, because we're about to just go play cleanup. Actually, I need to go to the left. Oops. This part's going to be incredibly boring and probably incredibly long, maybe? I don't know. There's like 4 or 5 jars that we need to go get, and that's about it. There's really nothing more to it. I'm also going to show off what the items do at the end of this video, so if you want to stick around for that maybe, or skip to it, you can do that. Also, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of my videos, I have the end slates that you should be able to click to the videos to get to other videos that I've made, but I'm lazy with updating those and actually going I'm bad with going back to those videos and adding the annotations, so I'm sorry about that if that bothers you. I'll eventually get to it, but right now I'm just mostly focused on getting videos out in general, because I'm pretty bad at recording. But here is one of the jars that we're missing. It's actually a kind of difficult monkey puzzle, which is cool. I actually like Shantae the most when it's trying to be a clever platformer, above being like a slightly combat-heavy Metroid game. Because the combat is not fun enough for regular combat to be interesting. You got a magic jar, hooray. like I said, the combat is not interesting enough to warrant you fighting as much as you have to, or at least fighting the normal enemies, which you should be able to take out in like one hit, because, I mean, at the end of the day, the enemies are nothing but an inconvenience. They're not even difficult, you just mostly do the same thing to try and kill them. So, I would say Shantae is definitely its best when it's trying to be a clever platformer, which it does in a lot of parts in Pirate's Curse, actually. The final stretch of Pirate's Curse is probably my favorite section of Shantae, aside from this really cool Easter egg that, by the way, I can't wait to show off. But Pirate's Curse does a lot of things right, and when I first watched Some Call Me Johnny, because, you know, I love Johnny, and Johnny, if you ever see this video, I love you, man. But at first, when I watched Johnny's reviews of all the Shantae games, for some reason, I just got kind of like fan butt hurt, because I was like, ah, man, he didn't like the genie transformations, but that's kind of Shantae's thing. He said that the pirate items that you got in, actually, we're gonna go back up. We're going to the dungeon. If we look at the map, we're going back to that dungeon to the right. The Hypno Baron's dungeon, I believe. That's where we're going next. But he said that the items from Shantae Pirate's Curse, the pirate items, which I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but it's not really. They're not Shantae. They're Risky's items, like her hat, her boots, her sword, and her gun. Those are the items that we get in the next game. And he says that those are actually a lot more fun to play with than the transformations. And as much as I think that Shantae should focus a lot on the transformations, I also agree with what he said, because the pirate items are incredibly fun to play with. Like, whenever we get to Pirate's Curse, you'll see why they're fun to play with, but basically, Shantae's transformations need to work more like Risky's pirate items, but in Half Genie Hero, Shantae is not going to be the only playable character. We're actually going to be able to play as Shantae, Risky, Skyla, or Sky? It's just Sky, right? Shantae, Risky, Sky, Bola, and Roddy Tops, actually. Which is cool because, you know, I'm a big fanboy of Roddy Tops. The way I've talked about her during the Let's Plays makes me sound like I hate her, but Roddy Tops is actually the bae, by the way. Just so we get that out of the way in this part of the episode that I told people not to watch, let me just give critical Dan lore to you guys while I'm doing a part where I told people not to watch. But the hair cream, by the way, makes us whip our hair incredibly fast, and I think it gives us this cool little after effect. I don't know if I brought that up, but hey, now I did. But since Half Genie Hero is going to have multiple playable characters, what I'm guessing is they're going to give, like, Risky all of her pirate items from Pirate's Curse. So, while Shantae's transformations may still be the same as they were in the first game, because she still has to do the belly dancing to transform into the animals, so you're still going to have to dedicate some time to actually doing the transformation dances, so that's not going to change. The other characters will actually make up for what Shantae lacks herself. So there's actually going to be a lot of unique playstyles, hopefully, with the different characters. At least, this is me putting out my wish list for Half Genie Hero. I don't know if any of this is true. I don't know how all the characters are going to be implemented. I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to play the entire story, or if they're going to have, like, smaller sections where only they get to do parts of the story, and that's that. But I hope you're following everything I'm doing on screen right now when I'm not explaining, because this is all necessary to get the thingy, but I'm assuming you're paying attention. But, you know, I was kind of worried I wouldn't have something to talk about. I'm usually pretty worried that I won't have something to talk about during these boring sections, but funny enough, I do have a lot to say to you guys, so hey, that's always nice. These monkey sections are incredibly tense. I also need to learn to shut up, because that's something I tend to not do during these Let's Plays. But what were we talking about? See, this is what happens, I forget. I have no idea how the characters are going to play in Half Genie Hero. I have no idea if they're going to have, like, full stories or just, like, Ow, sorry. Mini stories. I hit my desk because I needed to get a piece of hair out of my way. Also, I'm sweating like a motherfucker because it's grossly warm in my room. All right, so you're gonna wanna, I believe, no, that's not it. You wanna do this. Cross-eyed. We're trying to find the place with the mermaid, which is, or where we got the mermaid transformation rather, which is this room, I believe. It is totally this room. You remember this chest? Yep, that's where we're going. We had to come all the way back here for one stupid chest that has something in it that we really don't fucking need. That's my number one complaint with having to collect these jars in Risky's Revenge, is that at the end of the day, a lot of the rewards for collecting these jars aren't even worth it. They're cool, and there's something extra to do, but unless you care about the trophy or a picture you could honestly just find online somewhere, really doesn't matter. Really doesn't make a shit. But hey, we finished, and now we can move on to the next jar. Isn't that lovely? That's something. That's always something we have together. Oh, I'm also preparing for the Persona Let's Play. And I want to say I'm preparing for the Sonic 1 Let's Play, but honestly, what is there to prepare? I just gotta do, oh, god damn it. I just have to do a single playthrough of Sonic 1, and I'm prepared for the Let's Play. That's it. That's 100% what it has to be. Oh boy. Now we're at the part of the video where Dan doesn't know what to talk about, so he's just gonna sing a song while we get out of this fucking place. 'Cause it sucks. It sucks. Backtracking sucks dick. Let's hope it's not in Half Genie Hero, 'cause I don't wanna do, unless it's fun. Breaking away from my musical antics. If backtracking is done in a way that makes me excited for it, which is kind of a strange sentence, but it happens. There are games where I actually like backtracking, and I at the moment I can't put it to words how you're supposed to make backtracking fun, but if you can make your backtracking fun, by all means, I will do it happily, like without even bitching, because once it's fun, hey, I'm down to clown Charlie Brown. But we're gonna change back into the elephant so we can dash our way through. I told you, I warned you guys, by the way, if you're still here watching this because you love me, number one, aww, and number two, this is gonna be nothing but us doing bullshit, just collecting the jars. And at the end, I think we're gonna, like I said, buy the rest of the items that we need, and we're gonna show off what they do, and then we're gonna end it, because fuck, this is boring. This is the boring half of shit. But at least I had the benefit of doing it live. I feel like if I was doing this post-edit, like if I recorded, you know, it's funny. Let me talk about that real quick, if I can, and not lose track of myself. Where am I going? Literally, as I say, don't lose track of myself, I lose track of myself. Isn't that a bitch? But if I can go off on another tangent, sometimes I really feel like I could record, like I want to record, what am I doing here? I'm just gonna buy one of these to get it out of the way. Cool. Great. Sometimes I feel like recording episodes... Oh my god, why am I drawing a blur? Sometimes I think that recording the video and then doing audio, like post-recording the video, that has a word and I know it, but I can't think of it at the moment. But you know what I'm talking about, like recording the gameplay and then doing the audio afterwards, like talking over the video I already recorded. Sometimes I really wish I did that because it seems like it might be the easy way out, but then in and of itself is one of the reasons why I really don't want to do it, because it seems like it's an easy way out. Even though I know it probably isn't, I just kind of don't even want to do it. Our next destination is the Tangled Forest. Wait. Before you use the warp squid, use this, because this is one of the things we need. I can't believe I haven't got this one yet. Elephant Stomp, bam. You have a magic jar in your pocket. And now we're gonna go to the Tangled Forest. you're never gonna guess, actually, where the next one is. I may have mentioned it during the Let's Play when we went to it in the first place, but you're not gonna even remotely guess where the fuck this one's at. It's kind of stupid. I kind of wish that Shantae, like specifically Risky's Revenge, it's such a fast game that I wish that the natural progression of collecting the jars was like you could do it like constantly. Like every time you get a new upgrade, you're naturally going to be able to find the jar in the same area or in relatively the same area. You know what I mean? Like, say we get the mermaid bubble thing that we just got, and then on the way to Risky, we would find the last remaining magic jars, like something like that. But Shantae does this thing where you actually are required to have the mermaid bubble before you can get these last jars, and it requires you to backtrack unnecessarily, even though it's not even really that bad considering you have the warp stations. But if I may remind you, the original release of this game, the warp stations only warped you to specific locations, and that means, say I went to the teleportation in the Tangled Forest, that one only teleports you to the Lilac Fields, I believe. So I could only teleport between those 2 points, and it worked the same way for all other teleportation spots. It's the Director's Cut edition that actually allows you to teleport between any and all of the warp places as a whole. So that's kind of stupid and annoying, and that's how this game initially played out. So honestly, I don't know why they even bothered with this sort of backtracking bullshit. This is sort of why I didn't go for all the warp squids, because they were sort of not necessary, but hey, it doesn't matter. I'm just bitching for the sake of bitching, because maybe you'll get a kick out of it. But here, this is it. You need the mermaid dance to come and get this. Like, why? Why is this here? This is the first dungeon we came to. It's harmless. Like, I'm bitching for the sake of bitching right now. Let me get that out of the way first. I'm bitching about this just to have something to bitch about, but it feels a little unnecessary for this to even really be here at all. I don't know. Maybe I just prefer when my platformers are like naturally progressive instead of relying on backtracking to get more meat out of the game. Because again, I have a feeling, and a lot of people have a feeling, like this game is kind of unfinished, and they sort of didn't put the full game here that they wanted to put here. So in the end, maybe a lot of this backtracking was to keep you playing the game and make it seem larger than it actually is. But at the same time, you're watching me do this Let's Play, and I think, aside from fucking around a little bit, I'm pretty sure we've been pretty on track for the most part. So you've seen how quickly we've been able to collect all this crap in one go. So, like, did it really add that much playtime to the game? Did it actually? Like, real talk? No, the answer is it really didn't, and it's fine. You can beat the original Metroid in pretty radical times, so I mean, whatever. The length of Risky's Revenge is not what bothers me. It's fine. Honestly, the thing that bothers me the most is there's so much more game that could have been here. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We actually have Pirate's Curse for that, so who cares, you know? And then we're also gonna get Half Genie Hero, so we have had 4 Shantae games, all of which have been generally inoffensive, except for the first game, which is kind of crap. Like, I defended that game because I actually liked it, and I like Way Forward, and I can get into it. But if I could recommend you do anything, it's read the wiki, maybe, to learn more about Shantae before going into Risky's Revenge. But you can honestly just play Risky's Revenge, and you get the most, out of the game just by doing that. That's it. At that point, maybe you won't know who Risky is, maybe you won't know who Shantae is, maybe you won't know who Sky and Bolo is, or are, rather, but they kind of do a good job of making the game in such a way that if nobody told you that the first Shantae game existed, by the way, we're in the desert now, and you need to be skipping all of the tunnels that you can go into. If you recall, you need to go in and out of these tunnels to get to the far end of this area. And what we're aiming for is to come all the way to the left, and bam! That should be our last magic jar. I'm really hoping this is the last magic jar, because if not, that means I missed one. And I can't really say I remember which one it was, but with any luck, this is it. Ow. You son of a bitch, that was such a cheap shot. But again, like I said, these enemies are mostly just fudge. Oh, hey, look. Oh, good. I could have just fell and moved on with my life. I could have moved on with my monkey life. And the stars remind us that backtracking sucks. I could have got that jar a long time ago, but shush. Yeah, some of these jars we could have actually gotten a while back, so the amount of backtracking I actually had to do in this episode was mostly my fault, so I'll take responsibility for it. But at the same time, did we really have to backtrack to the first 2 dungeons just to get those last 2 jars? Did we really? No, the answer is absolutely not. But it's okay. For all I know, we're done. No more backtracking. And if you watch the video all the way through, which I think we're pretty much going on like 30 minutes, I'm sorry, by the way. But if you stayed all the way, I love you. You know I do. You know it's me and you against the world, you random person watching this. Welcome to the item shop. Okay, so with this, we should be able to... Yes! Yes, we can do it! Booyah, we have all of them. And what I'm gonna waste the rest of my money on is magic and potions. So we now have a full stock. What the hell? We now have a full stock. So this is what the 3rd level fireball does. It's a flamethrower, apparently. I didn't know that. I don't know how much damage that does, but I'm gonna try that on the final boss just to see what happens. But this is the 2nd level puff cloud. And this is the 3rd level puff cloud. Okay, so the 2nd level and the 3rd level puff cloud actually do the same thing, but I think in the end, this one ends up being better maybe? Or maybe they just do the same damn thing, but they just have different animations and actually do more damage. So I could just be full of shit, but since you've now seen them, these 3 at least are... You don't need them. This one's required for a jar, the 2nd level fireball, but aside from that, like, you really don't need these 4. We're gonna test that theory out on the last boss fight because, you know, why not? But we have done it. We've collected all the items, and I have shown you what all the items do. So hooray for that. Where we need to go now, it was said that we need to go east, and considering that this body of water shows off some part of the map that we have not visited before, it's probably a safe bet that this is where the last level is. And let me tell you, boys and girls, the next episode may be the last one. Just, you know, just a wink wink nudge nudge to you guys. But if you've stayed this long, I appreciate you hanging out and listen to me babble about a game that I love, because that, at the end of the day, that's really what I come here for. I just love talking about video games that I love. So hopefully my opinions on the matter will make it to somebody who will make a really cool video game. I don't even need the dedication. If you, like, send me a message saying, hey man, I took your advice and made a video game, go buy it. Like, you don't even have to give me a free copy. If you took my advice and tell me you took my advice, I will go buy your game. Hopefully it's not like $60, but I still might even still do it, because you know, you took my advice and you hopefully made a game that would really tickle my fancy. But I'm babbling again right now. But that's all the time we have for this episode. A hero's work is never done. Join me again next time as we continue to tackle Shantae Risky's Revenge. Later days, everybody.